All right, well, our speaker this morning is our regular monthly speaker, except for December when he transforms into Santa Claus and we lose him. It's Reverend Doug Craig. And Reverend Doug has one of the most amazing stories I've ever encountered. And every time that he comes, he has just such depth and wisdom to share. And we're so grateful that he has that he shares it with us every month. So please help me welcome Reverend Doug Craig.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, how's everybody this fine Sunday?
Good.
Awesome.
So how many are here right now?
Oh.
I'm not talking about your bodies. Okay, most everybody is, yeah. Yeah, so the talk today is now. There's no other way to live life to the fullest other than putting ourselves and our state of consciousness in the now moment. Easy to say, a little bit different. But I was thinking about some of the things that were said with Bruce and Susan and a few other comments. And one of them was committed, being committed. So one of the things that we need to do to start out with is ask ourselves, what are we committed to? Of course, the general thing people would say, well, I'm not committed to anything right now. Well, that's what you're committed to. You see, one of the things that we want to do is find out what we're committed to, so we're always committed to something. And once we see what we're committed to, that's what I call our modus operandi, how we conduct our lives. Then we have the ability, through awareness, to begin to change it. So I want to start out with saying that all problems with now moment thinking happen in your mind. Did you know that? They don't happen anywhere else. They happen in your mind. Let's have coffee tomorrow. Anybody in for coffee tomorrow? Right now. Well, you can't do that. So if I suggest that we try to have coffee tomorrow now, and was really adamant about it, you would say, well, what's wrong with this guy? I mean, you can't do that. Or I say, hey, let's change what we did yesterday. Let's go do that now. Oh, but you can't do that. So the question I have, if I started telling you that this is what we need to do and how we need to do it, you would probably think I'm a little bit nuts, and maybe you shouldn't be listening to that. However, on the other hand, if we didn't spend a lot of time trying to do both of those things, what's going to happen tomorrow and what happened yesterday, if we didn't spend all our time doing that, then we would be able to enjoy now. Because really that's all we've got. Have you noticed that? I come across this, I carry this with me all the time, just in case I need it. Never know when I need it. Today I did. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. There are 2 days in every week about which we should not worry. 2 days which should be kept free from fear and apprehension. One of these days is yesterday, with its mistakes and cares, its faults and blunders, its aches and pains. Yesterday has passed forever beyond our control. All the money in the world cannot bring back yesterday. We cannot undo a single act we performed. We cannot erase a single word we said. Yesterday is gone. The other day we should not worry about is tomorrow, with its possible adversities, its burdens, its large promise, and perhaps poor performance. Tomorrow is also beyond our immediate control. Tomorrow's sun will rise, either in splendor or behind a mask of clouds, but it will rise. Until it does, we have no stake in tomorrow, for it is yet as unborn. This leaves only one day. Today. Anyone can fight the battles of just one day. It's when you and I add the burdens of those two awful eternities, yesterday and tomorrow, that we break down. It is not the experience of today that drives men mad. It is remorse or bitterness for something which happened yesterday and the dread of what tomorrow may bring. Let us therefore live but one day at a time. So I thought that was very well presented in order to bring us back to the harsh reality that any of the joy, peace, prosperity, or fulfillment that we're going to experience in life is today. Now that doesn't mean that we forego planning and goal setting. Heavens no. That doesn't mean that we've got to stop dreaming. Heavens no. We need to do all of that. However, we need to do what we can do today, right here, right now, with what we got, and allow the rest to unfold in that tomorrowland. It's when we start bringing what might or might not happen, how we could or could not handle it, what people may say or may not say, all the worrying and the doubt. When we bring that into today, we really destroy the vision and the destination that we've set. So our job is to go about life to the best of our abilities, believing that what we're doing today and our goals and dreams are unfolding as they should, and heavens, I don't know the next step, but I don't have to know. All I got to do is get started with what I've got, where I am, right here, right now, and focus in the vision, focus on the dream, and the steps and the way will be revealed. And then, of course, sometimes when we start doing that, I get going, oh, am I listening to this today? I got to listen to this. Sometimes when we get started going on a plan, we have a storm come to our life. We've been talking about this. Has been my favorite lately. Not all storms come to bring difficulties to our life. Some storms come to clear the way. Okay? Because sometimes that's what's needed to clear the way. It's a little bit of a storm. And our job is to be in the present with what happens that's taken us to where we're going, and then all the other things that happen that we've got no control over. Anybody ever feeling like you're afraid because down the line you know you're going to lose somebody because they're getting a little older, or maybe a pet or something like that? And that's a valid thing. It crosses our mind. However, but to entertain it, to feed it, and to give it a lot of energy and attention is not good for us. One of the great people that wrote on this was a guy by the name of Eckhart Tolle. And in The Power of Now, he wrote, "The mind is a superb instrument if it's used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it can become very destructive. To put it more accurately, it is not so much that you're using your mind wrongly. You usually don't use it at all. It uses you." When did you find yourself recently off away over there and you're going, whoa, how did that get there? Okay? And that's not because you're, see, anybody get into this, how come, what's wrong with me? I'm thinking all this weird stuff. Anybody ever think that sometimes? It's not that something's wrong with you. It's not that something's wrong with your mind. It's just that you're not using it. Because it'll work. Have you ever noticed that? You don't have to think about nothing, it just still thinks. Okay? Wonderful tool. This is the disease. You believe that you are your own mind. This is the delusion. The instrument has taken you over. Okay? And that's the way we do it. When we feed our mind something, it goes down a road. Just imagine yourself right now, and you're out for a nice walk this evening. Just get this vision, and you're walking along, and then all of a sudden you see a great big Doberman pincer down the road, and he's looking at you, and he's growling, and the fangs are bared, and oh my God, you stop right in your tracks. Next thing you could just see that dog jumping at you, and you got your hands up, and he's ripping your arm, and the next thing the EMT's there, and man, you got you down to the hospital. Not quick enough, you got rabies. Next thing, you're going to the funeral. Then you notice that the dog's chained to the tree. Were you with me on that? See? None of us were in the mow. We were all off somewhere else on a walk tonight. Right? Okay. But did anybody get any feeling from that? I did. Yeah. So we get feeling now for something that we've created that, why did we even think about that or talk about it? Well, I did, but you were there too. See what I'm getting at? That's why when you watch TV in the news, it's good to be informed, but holy mackerel, do some people ever get into that stuff? And politics. That's another story. Okay? So he says the moment you start watching the thinker, a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. You then begin to realize that there is a vast realm of intelligence beyond thought. And thought is only a tiny aspect of that intelligence. You also realize that all things that truly matter, beauty, love, creativity, joy, inner peace, arise from beyond the mind. Then you begin to awaken. So it rises from beyond the mind. And there's the old adage right there, which is the point I was making. An idle mind is the devil's playground. Have you ever heard that? If you don't give your mind something to do, it will go off on its own. And here's the other thing. Even if you do give it something to do, you're going to be doing it, and then pretty soon, just like fishing, oh, I'm doing my fishing, I'm here now, and all of a sudden, whoosh, and the line's down the water, way down the river. Anybody ever have that happen? If you fished, you've had that happen, or you ain't fishing, right? What do? You got to reel it back in. And that's if you're doing what we say is the right thing with your mind. And what Eckhart Tolle says is, the other stuff all happens when you're not using your mind. So the greatest gift that one can have from coming and listening to the great wisdom that's presented by everyone here and the great community is we constantly get reminded and we get on track. I had a neat experience with Anna on holidays here. Well, sort of neat. It bothered me at first terribly until I accepted it. But we were going to BC to a do, and then our car crapped out, so we rented a new one to go out there. And this new car steers itself. I can feel it. What the hell? What is this? It's steering itself. Now I thought, no, so I went into a corner, and then the sign comes up, put your hands back on the wheel. It's steering itself. Whoa. And then if I go over and change lanes, beep, beep, jerk, jerk, but I forced it. However, if I do the right thing and put on the signal light, I go over to the next lane. Wow. And then it's got that thing for backing up. Well, I like that. And I thought, I'm not going to tell you how I felt about it because we don't have enough time when I first started. Then I started, okay, then I put my mind into, well, let's look at the positives. Well, I am moving on in time, and I'm not quite as quick to the reflexes, and sometimes my mind does wander. It wanders all the time, but I'm using this for your story to go on with, you know. And I'm going, yeah, I can see that that's got some real good benefits. I think Anna's going, because I do wander sometimes. I don't know if anybody else does when they're driving, but like those little ruts and stuff like that, you know, the gravel on the road, stuff like that. Anyhow, so they are now putting a control system in cars to help us. And I really do think that that is going to, over a period of time, be of benefit. So, what happens if we put a little bit of a control system in our head to get us on track a lot quicker than going away off into the dish and crashes and wonder, what happened? Okay? So that's what we want to do, and there's only one way to do both. It's real simple. There is no tricks, nothing to do except practice conscious awareness, and when you find yourself in your mind away over there, bring it back. When you find yourself trying to figure out, well, I do this, she'll do this, he'll do that, and I'll do this. Well, how do we know that? Anybody ever done a he, she, do, he'll do, she does, I do, what they'll do? And yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And does it matter? No, because we don't know what any of them are going to do until we get there. If we do it before we get there, then we get into the do-do. So, one of the keys, this is how you do it. Surrender. We must learn to let go of control. I think it was 15, 20 years before I started to really accept that I had to do that. Letting go of control does not mean that you're out of control. Letting go of control means that you're in control. Because when you let go of trying to control the future or the past or the people in your life, even when you let go of trying to control yourself, and follow the guide of Spirit and keep ourselves in the present moment, then we have no need to control anything, because the Spirit will always give us what we need when we need it. The point is, with the Spirit, you're always on an as-need-to-know basis. So we got to get real clear about that. So it's the acceptance of now. Because if not, then what we do is we journey into these other places. So when you're in now, it's easy to manufacture and live in heaven. But I'll guarantee you, if you're spending too much time about the concern of the future or the past, you're in hell. Okay? Not unless it's reflection to bring forward wisdom or contemplating of goals and dreams and desires. Those are the natural part of it. But that other stuff of reworking the past or catastrophizing over the future, it takes us into hell. Hell is a state of consciousness, and so is heaven. The greater later that they talk about, can't tell you about, never been there, don't talk about stuff I haven't done, but we'll all find out. But I can tell you that heaven and hell is right here, right now, and we journey back and forth on a day-to-day basis. So you don't ever have to tell anybody to go to hell. They're going to end up there anyhow. Just make sure you don't. So one of the things in closing I want to leave you with is to realize that when we spend time in those two places, we're robbed of our potential and our creativity. And it's difficult to find creative solutions for anything unless we're working with what we got right here and right now. And remember that, as Louise Hay said, the point of power is always in the present moment. So I know for you, as I know myself, that as we go forward from here today, there is a conscious awareness and effort within each and every one of us to move the predominant train of our thought back to where we have control and where we have the power into right here and right now. So I know we do this, I know we accept the good, I know we're guided and blessed, and so it is.
So it is.
Whee!